The seductive styling of the 2022 Mazda CX-9 elevates your idea of what a three-row CUV can be.
Get 0% financing on a new Mazda CX-9 at Baton Rouge's Mazda dealer, Team Mazda.
That would be concerning and maybe set a precedent moving forward.
If you had plans to be outside, you might hit a couple of these little passing showers.
A drug bust and a few arrests made. Look at what they hauled in here.
Good morning. Welcome to 9 News Now on WAFB Plus. If you've made the switch over, thank you for joining us on this revised edition of 9 News Now.
This is something we've been doing for a couple of years now. We were just doing it live in the moment at 9:15, just trying to give you some time in between, but trying something new, just a real continuation. Literally just ran out of the big studio into this one right here. So this is what we're going to start doing for you right now. You can always video on demand it a little bit later on if you want as well. But here we go with WAFB Plus and 9 News Now. And this morning, Liz, the story of the day and going forward is going to be just absolute devastation and loss of life. Our friends and neighbors to the north.
We're talking about Running Fork, Mississippi. So all morning long, we're going to talk about some of the devastation that our neighbors up north have been seeing there. Some severe storms moving through the area, and as crews kind of move in to assess the damage here, figure out what type of storms, how severe of a tornado moved through, this is what people there are waking up to. Homes scattered, debris everywhere, and you can see some of these crews, these vehicles already in to deal with the damage. But we heard from a man this morning saying there is just devastation all around everywhere. Me. I don't know how to process this. I don't know what to think.
And that's what happens when the initial estimates right now, the EF4 that came through, the very rare EF4, and if you've seen the drone footage from there, it is, or satellite imaging from the then to the now, it is neighborhoods completely gone, an entire town just absolutely devastated. That is the story going forward. So we as human beings, we always want to help. And look, we know what that means in South Louisiana. We need the help every once in a while. We're big on giving it, and there are ways we can be a part of that here.
One of the great organizations that's helped Louisiana during our times of need, the Salvation Army. So while the Salvation Army of Greater Baton Rouge also doing their own thing and trying to mobilize their efforts here, let's talk about a greater scale. One of the efforts here, if you'd like to make a monetary donation, the Salvation Army, obviously, they're on the ground making sure people have water to drink, blankets to cover them. As we're still kind of dealing with these yo-yo temperatures, a lot of people still need those basic resources. So if you're thinking, I don't know really how to help, how about this? Text MS Tornadoes to 51555 and they'll send you a link for you to make that monetary donation.
From that to this, maybe you want to do something that is more supply oriented, like you literally have stuff on hand or you know what you want to give. How about Walker PD collecting actual supplies? They're going to get them up to those folks who need it.
Today and tomorrow, if you have any water bottles, non-perishable foods, toiletries that you'd like to bring them by the Walker Police Department. As Matt mentioned, today and tomorrow, they're working on a time to bring it up to the folks there in Running Fork.
So much going on right there. We'll continue to tell this story for you to let you know the very latest. Speaking of the very latest, you know, the weather was grabbing headlines everywhere this weekend, right?
Yes.
And then Sunday morning, you may have gotten the push alert, you may have gotten a number of them. This quickly became a headline in South Louisiana. 2 BRPD officers killed when their helicopter went down.
All we know right now is that this chopper was up in the air assisting in a police pursuit in West Baton Rouge Parish. When eventually around 11 o'clock is when some wreckage was found in that parish there. We're still trying to figure out the timeline of why it took so long for that wreckage to be found. In the meantime, Chief Murphy Paul of the Baton Rouge Police Department asking for the community, for their prayers, for the families, for the colleagues of these 2 officers. And right now you can imagine all of the families still waiting to be notified of this, and that's why we haven't shared any names of the officers just yet.
It's obviously, you know, you perhaps maybe have seen names out there on social. We're not obviously going to be doing any of that until we are given the go-ahead by BRPD. We'll be talking with them, of course, a little bit later on today. But you know, for those of you who don't know that area in West Baton Rouge, it's right there along 190. You know, from Port Allen to Irwinville, you can travel up. It's right off of that, in between Irwinville and Port Allen, in a sugarcane field. It's hard to get to and hard to access sometimes, but yeah, the crews got out there just late yesterday morning, but we'll update you once we get those names and keep you caught up. From that to this, actually, this was Kelly Hubbard's story this morning. This is something that doesn't get talked about enough, depending on who you are. Really, feminine hygiene products, the need for that in schools, and to to have access to it.
So this is actually a statewide conversation. A bill is going to be proposed in this upcoming legislative session to make sure schools have resources like pads, tampons, sanitary wipes, all available in schools for students. Because, Matt, you know, you've got daughters, you've got a wife, you have a daughter. If you are a woman yourself, you know the nightmare of being at school, not having any of the supplies you need, not having the resources to go buy that in school. So how is EBR attacking this issue of having that at hand?
Callie was live this morning with all the details. If you'd like to donate, if you'd like to be a part of it, because look, this is a subject that we should all be comfortable enough to talk about clearly. Obviously, it's just a natural human body function. So the ability to talk about it, to make sure that everybody has what they need, that just absolutely makes sense. Don't create a stigma where there shouldn't be one. So help the folks out with EBR. Jump online, figure it out how you can help. Again, daughters, wife, every sister, all of it.
Everyone can get involved in this conversation. Speaking of schools, let's talk about some early childhood education options for those who live in Ascension Parish. If you're trying to figure out what are we going to do for this following school year, my kiddo's growing up, today some registration opens up.
So it's pre-K registration, pre-K for kindergarten, obviously pre-K online. Now this is 23-24.
Yes.
Right. So and this is what our Deanna Guillory was talking about this morning. All the information, all the information waiting for you right here. Again, all the different places you can go. Look from Galvez Primary, Lakeside, Lake Elementary, Carver, Gonzales, Pecan Grove. There's so many different options there in Ascension Parish. Now, where do you want your child to go? You got to jump online real quick, see if you can't figure it all out.
You got options. If you want to apply in person, you have to go to the very school that you'd like your kid to attend. You can also apply online. Details are on the 9 News app.
Let's do this right here because we are still celebrating the LSU women's basketball team. What a game last night. Defense really put the pressure on Miami. They're headed to the Final Four.
I tell you what, I don't know if LSU fans thought that we'd end up in this predicament this year, but Coach Kim Mulkey getting us to this dream here. A lot of fans been waiting for this for a long time. So how do we move on? Well, Friday is a big day we're looking forward to next.
So, yeah, our Jacques Doucet has been covering this ride this whole time. He's actually on a plane right now, headed back into BR.
The team.
So you have to grab a couple days rest there, Jacques D, because you're going to be back on that plane, headed over to Big D for the Final Four, as Liz mentioned. The first 2 games are going to be Friday, and then if there's that championship game, well, there will be. Who's playing in it? That's going to be on Sunday. But we will continue to follow that ride with the purple and gold. My goodness, their 6th Final Four.
Oh, it's an exciting time here in Tiger Country. And Steve, I tell you, this is something we're all on board for. We're all aboard the Kim Mulkey train. Good morning, Steve.
Good morning, Liz. Yeah, it was exciting to watch that last night. Congrats to the Lady Tigers. All right, weather this morning, tracking some scattered rains around the area. Had some pretty hefty storms rolling across Lake Pontchartrain into St. Tammany Parish this morning. Some showers trailing behind that. Convent's got some rain. Pierre Park continuing to get some showers. And then near and north of Morgan City, back towards Franklin, a few more showers showing up. And then we've got this broken band of rain right now showing up from southwest Mississippi, extending into parts of West Feliciana and Point Coupee parishes. That's a cold front that's slowly sinking south this morning. Here's a live look over the Mississippi River in downtown. We do have some fog on the river at this hour, but over land itself, not doing too bad. That's our Sky 9 view brought to you by Our Lady of Lake. However, places like New Roads, down to a quarter-mile visibility, quarter-mile in New Iberia. So keep an eye out, a patch or two of fog, but at the airport in Baton Rouge right now reporting 5 miles, so it's certainly not everywhere. It's been a warm, humid morning around the area. 73 in Baton Rouge right now. Most of us low to mid 70s, although you do see a couple of spots like New Roads and Opelousas in the upper 60s. I think by the time we get to lunchtime and into the afternoon, rain chances should trend lower temporarily. Temperatures upper 70s at noon, low to mid 80s for highs. But late this afternoon, this evening, some storms return. Let's look at that on future radar. You'll see the showers continuing to drop south this morning with that front. Now, the front may be kind of making it south of I-10, stalling out into the afternoon hours. And then this evening, starting to retreat to the north. So here we are now, 9, 10 o'clock. You see some scattered storms returning tonight. We pick it up, and then as we get into the overnight and into tomorrow morning, watch this, widespread showers and storms expected tomorrow morning. So the Tuesday morning commute could be a bit of a mess. Here we are, 10 a.m. Tuesday, things starting to diminish from west to east, and by Tuesday afternoon, we should dry out. Today, there is a level 1 out of 5 marginal risk of severe weather, and this is more so late today and tonight as we get some new storms developing, and that threat continues for many of us into tomorrow morning as we get that next wave moving in from the west. Rain could be locally heavy tomorrow morning as well. We'll keep an eye on that. So some scattered rains this morning, a bit of a lull this afternoon, then some activity returns this evening and tonight. Storms likely tomorrow morning, but beginning tomorrow afternoon, right on through Wednesday, Thursday, Friday should be dry. Briefly cooler Wednesday and Thursday, couple of mornings in the 50s. Highs only 73 on Wednesday, but by Friday into the weekend, highs back into the 80s with a few showers returning. All right, let's get a check now on your Monday morning commute. With more on that, here's Jared.
Steve, thank you so much for that. We are seeing a little bit of fog here and there, and it's reducing the visibility. We're okay at I-10 at Washington, coming away from the downtown area. That is I-10 eastbound right now, stacking up a little bit. You can actually see the fog developing over the river, and that's what we've been dealing with over the past couple of mornings over the weekend. You can see the visibility actually improves right when you get away from the water, but there you can see it as you look across in the westbound direction. Meantime, looking in that direction, that's where all the fog really has been, across the Atchafalaya Basin, on I-10 towards Lafayette, or on 190. So whether you take either one of those routes, you're going to encounter that. Remember to use your low beams, not your brights. We've had a couple of stalled vehicles in and around the downtown area. They have all been cleared up. That's good. But by the I-12 going to the I-10 split, there's a little bit of a slowdown there too. We had a crash at Drusilla by Jefferson. It looks like that has been cleared away. And we had a stalled vehicle at Professional near Airline. That too looks like it is clearing up. Gonzales to the 1012 is good. 18 minutes. That's a normal time. Jubin to 1012 is slowed down at 26. The average speed below 30 miles per hour. And the 1012 to the 10110, that's a little bit slow as well. Average speed below 40 miles per hour. Take it slow, take it safe, and stay with us right here. Matt and Liz, we'll send it back to you in the studio.
Jared, thank you, sir. Appreciate it. He and Steve are both talking about the fog out there. You're seeing it right here along the river. I wouldn't suggest driving on the river, obviously, but maybe if you're driving along it, you're going to notice something like that. Well, you know, it's a pretty looking start if you're a fan of fog along the river.
You know what? It does make for a picturesque Monday morning, especially as we talk about some storms in store. Make sure you pack an umbrella before you leave the house this morning. Our team continuing to keep their eyes on your weather and traffic and your news headlines. In fact, join us in 10 more minutes on WAFB Plus. You're going to see Dr. Steve, Jared Silverman, Matt with all the things on your Monday morning.
Jared, I know you're still alive and kicking in the men's bracket. You had LSU going the whole way in the women's pool?
You know what? I didn't do a women's, but if I did, I would have put LSU all the way.
Good answer.
Come on, Steve. Talk to your man, Steve.
Better say that, right?
We'll see you again at 7:25, as Liz said.